That's what we need. Hi everyone, Wanthony Need Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Aesop Rock and Blockhead album, Garbology. One of hip-hop's most well-known underground duos, wordsmith Aesop Rock and a producer extraordinaire Blockhead, who have authored a lot of classic tracks together on records like Float, as well as Labor Days, Bazooka Tooth. But following these LPs, Aesop Rock seemed more and more determined to handle the production on his records on his own, and that's yielded some very good results with Skeleton, Impossible Kid, that record is incredible, even his last full-length LP. But now on Garbology, he is handing beat duties back to Blockhead, and I went into this thing hoping that would lead to some interesting new chain reactions. But if you're familiar with Aesop Rock's past stuff, his recent stuff, as well as Blockhead's, I would say that Garbology doesn't sound new as much as it sounds familiar. In a way comfortable, sort of like picking up where you left off. Like old friends catching up artistically. And sure, while this record doesn't sound like Labor Days or anything, Aesop Rock is still very deep into his layered, esoteric, conceptual word wizardry, and Blockhead knows just how to complement it. I will say though, the beats on this thing don't sound as hyper-specific to Aesop's sound now as his own production does on his stuff. I've really come to appreciate the quirky, loud, and vibrant aesthetics that he goes for and how it fits his rapping so well. But him and Blockhead still go together on this LP like peanut butter and jelly or flies and rotting piles of garbage. And instrumentally, I think Blockhead is able to throw things back to more tried and true sound palettes of dusty drums and sort of filthy samples, which I think turns this project into something more hip-hop purists might appreciate, because Aesop's style has never been an easy transition for most people because of his bars and his terminology. It's purposely crafted to ward off anyone who is uninterested in unpacking what he has to say. And the way he goes about it is certainly more crafty than putting his interests and struggles mentally and emotionally more plainly, for sure. Initially, I thought Jazz Hands was kind of a tough sell as a single, especially with it being so linear and the drop of the drums on this track being so delayed. As I listened to it, I thought it would make more sense as a tone setter of some sort, so I am happy to hear this thing is the first full song on the record. The spacious production certainly brings a darkness to the beginning of this LP, as do the references to loneliness and rage and revolution. The revolution won't have jazz hands. There's some insane wordplay and alliteration across the track, partly cloudy, palpable panic in the troposphere, which on the surface does sound like, you know, crazy lyrical miracle crap, but it does actually mean something. Those words do convey an image and speaks to the growing social tensions and strife that the song and much of this record are in reference to. Again, the vibe on this track is creepy, it's dire, and in so many ways I think it kicks the whole project off well. And from there are plenty more highlights to come. We have Legerdemain, where I'm pretty sure Billy Woods is in the background on this hook. I love the filthy drums, the resonant bass line, the strange guitar lick sampled on this one. The lyrics are packed with all of this wintry and freezing imagery. Late night debauchery as well. I love the way that Ace is painting this picture with thermals over thermals over thermals and the thermostat saying nuh-uh. In terms of mood and vibe, the song Difficult is even eerier with its husky drums and weepy distant tones and really murderous jazzy reed loops. That contrasts interestingly with the kind of heavenly chorus the song brings to the table, which sees Aesop Rock portraying himself as easygoing, but the verses show him to be anything but, saying he's more for the sordid and his storm has plans for the Dorothies. Which I think is one of the most hilarious Wizard of Oz references ever. I can't believe after all these years he just rattles this stuff off. Plus his flow and delivery on this track is something I think LP fans should appreciate, assuming some of them don't really know like the company flow and Def Jux history and everything, which that's kind of been, I think, lost on a lot of people over the years. Meanwhile, the track Oh Fudge carries some serious MF Doom energy with this evil textured beat and lyrically some very very dark self-portrayals. I think this track really lives up to the Garbology title, with Aesop painting this character portrait that is like this mutant, melty garbage man. Mold on his robe, moles on moles. I don't have any bones, teeth in many rows. It sounds like a monster from a vintage comic book. The song More Cycles continues these themes of scumminess and apocalypse. Certainly ideas Ace has explored before on previous records, but he seems very intent to explore every crust-filled pocket of them here. But instrumentally, this track sounds like the opening to some sort of Mad Maxian cyberpunk epic about like a lone wolf mercenary or something. And the lyrics of the track read basically the same, as we get bars about being a marauder with no off switch and being all things lawless. All of the burning references made in the final verse of the track are super clever, as are just Aesop's general abilities to world build so well within a few minutes' time. There's no doubt in my mind that after all these years, Aesop Rock is still a top-notch lyricist, but still, there are points where this LP borders a little bit on pretentious, like the track Flamingo Pink, which I do like, but there is a moment where we seemingly get an unironic "you laugh because I'm different, I laugh because you're the same." Am I listening to an album or a Hot Topic shirt from 2004? For some reason, the song All the Smartest People also radiates a little bit I'm not like the other boys type energy, which I get. I don't deny that Aesop Rock is definitely like a one-in-a-generation type artist, but he seems so desperate to prove that in so many ways on this project, it occasionally gets in the way of just making a great song. The track All Day Breakfast featuring Homeboy Sandman I was pretty interested to listen to given their artistic rapport over the years through multiple collaborations, but I was kind of disappointed to hear that energy-wise, things really drop off once Sandman's verse starts. Frankly, I think they've had better crossovers before. Not to mention the instrumental on this one builds up some deadly tension across the progression of the track with no real release in sight, just kind of a fizzle out toward the end. And as usual, Ace's hook game is not the best. Sometimes his choruses run a little wordy or long-winded or jagged, which is certainly the case with tracks like Fizz as well as Wolf Piss. We do get a strong finish on the project though, with a trio of tracks starting with which is another dark number slathered in mystical frosty synths. Lyrically, the song comes across as being a strange diatribe about being fried out of your mind. The imagery of which is so surreal and intense, I can't help but be in awe of it. The Sea is another chilling moment on the LP. Meanwhile, the morbid Abandoned Malls, I think, puts a big, fat, ugly, moldy, slimy bow on the record's themes of death and existentialism and end times. So Garbology overall, I think, is a pretty good and grungy comeback for Aesop Rock and Blockhead, at least, you know, as a duo unit. I do come away from this LP wishing there was more topical variety, because I think on previous projects, Aesop Rock's imagination has certainly pushed him into weirder places, but still, as is this project, is packed with very impressive moments instrumentally and lyrically. And even if it may not be one of my favorite Aesop projects of all time, this is going to be a cause for celebration for anybody who's been rocking with these guys for years. Feeling a decent 2 strong 7 on this one. Transition. Have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Aesop Rock, Blockhead, forever.